in today's show, when success is measured in metres.
Could almost run and kick it all the way to the centre if he wanted to.
And in a team dominated by youngsters, you can't beat experience. Hi, I'm Mark Bickley and welcome to the Optus Crows Show as we fly as one in 2021. But first, let's join in celebrating Sir Doug Nicholls Round, where we recognise the enormous contribution Indigenous players make to our great game. For Ben Davis, designing the special Crows Guernsey was the opportunity to connect to his ancestral home, the Torres Strait Islands. Ben was born in Sydney and has relied on his mentor, Uncle Eddie Peters, to educate him about his heritage and inspire his creative talents.
Like every year, like Indigenous round would roll around, and there was like Shane-O Jr., all these boys, especially when Eddie was here as well, who were really, connected to their culture and know a lot about it. And I'd like almost feel a little bit ashamed that I knew nothing about it every year. When I was younger, the connection I had to my culture was my dad, and didn't have a good sort of connection with him, so lost contact with him when I was around 14. And then since then, haven't really had any Indigenous elder to teach me about my own culture. I was like, I can't really be drawing a Torres Strait design jersey if I'm not learning about my own culture. So that's pretty much what really drove me to learn more and dive into my culture.
I met Ben last year. Jeremy rang me up, told me that there's a young fella who had Torres Strait Islander background and want to catch up and learn about his culture. When I first Ben, and he told me about his dad's side, and then I told him like, oh, I knew that family, and I told him which island they come from.
It helps me sort of realise where I get my personality from and why I act the way I do. A lot of the stuff I hear about the culture and that, I've really resonate with. Uncle Eddie's sitting there telling me stories that 10 or 11-year-olds on the Torres Strait Islands are hearing, and I'm sitting there as a 23-year-old, eyes wide open, soaking it all in.
Nobody, even in Adelaide, don't know about Torres Strait Islander culture. So for me, to explain to the wider community and to Ben that, about the culture and how we do things up in the islands.
I'm extremely grateful for Uncle Eddie, who's almost like a father figure who can teach me about my culture and about myself, and who can, get me in contact with other elders I can sort of use and to learn off and to grow. So, very grateful for that.
Let's remember Doug Nicholls. Back in the 1930s, he was the first Indigenous player to represent Victoria in interstate games. Early in his career, he was racially abused and suffered discrimination from his own Fitzroy teammates. Importantly, he led the way for generations of Indigenous players to follow and became a lifelong advocate for Aboriginal rights. Now, AFL has become a game of statistics. Almost every second of play is reduced to a stat. Among the more important numbers is metres gained, and that's where Brodie Smith and Paul Seedsman lead the competition. It's a measure of penetration, how far players move the ball forward with each possession.
Distance allowed, Seedsman makes his own mind up and uses the width of the ground.
I don't think either of us worry about the numbers as such, but we've sort of got a penetrating kick, so Nixie likes us to hit the back line and also break the lines with run and carry. So at the end of the day, it's no good if you just kick it and bombing it to the opposition.
Made mention to him last week that it'd come up that we were 1 and 2, and we had a bit of a laugh about it because he had me by about 30 metres. Yeah, it's definitely not a competition or something, but it's good to have, I guess, guys like us in the team that are breaking the lines and getting those metres gained.
He's got a long kick on him. He could almost run and kick it all the way to the centre if he wanted to. He does blast it.
It's the way teams are pressing the ground now. Obviously, if we can get those handball receives and get the ball, through zones and over zones, it's very important for us. So, definitely something we try to implicate into our game plan.
The game's opened up a bit this year. We're seeing a bit more scoring. The man on the mark has opened that up. If you take the bloke on, the man on the mark on, you can sort of generate another 10 or 15 metres. And whether that means you're then bailing out to kick long, or another option in a 45 or another lane has opened up for you to hit. So that definitely has helped, and it's a lot more difficult to defend the kicker.
Off to Seedsman. Now they really will erupt.
It's a way that we can help impact the game for our team, and as long as it's in a positive way, we're happy with it.
Seedsman can kick a goal finish. That is a ripper.
There's another side to Brodie Smith, of course, and after the break, we'll catch up with Smithers, the roving reporter. Welcome back. In his leadership role at the club, Brodie Smith takes many of the young players under his wing. In this segment, delivered by Thomas Farms, he's helping us get to know them a little more.
This week we're joined by Chase Jones. CJ, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having us.
Give everyone your draft year. Where'd you come from and your pathway to the footy club?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Tassie. Played local footy at Launceston in the State League down there, and then played in the Allies in the Div 1 Champs and Tassie in the Div 2, back when that was a thing before the NAB League, and then the draft year.
Nice. And anyone that's looked after you since you got to the footy club in your first year? And
Sloaney was a big one. Definitely started off as a midfielder, looking after me with patterns and a bit of vision and that sort of thing. He was the first person that sort of tapped me on the shoulder to help me out.
You've had a couple of boys, you've lived with a couple of boys. Any dirt on them, or the most annoying to live with? Or
I wouldn't say the most annoying, but the person who gives nothing when you're at home is Will Hamill. Sits in his room and plays PlayStation all day, which is completely different to when he's at the club. He's the character of the group and won't stop talking.
Yeah, very annoying. Takes an hour and a half through weights because he talks to all the boys.
Yeah, and it's a struggle.
We'll get Will on soon and we'll get into him. What about away from footy? What's your interest? What do you do on your day off and away from the club?
At the moment, it's mainly uni, doing human movement and physiology at the current time. A bit of golf, but that's been put on the back burner like yourself.
Probably thankfully for both of us.
Very thankfully. It's not very good. But no, that's about it really, and just chilling out at the beach as much as you can. The beaches here are a lot warmer than Tassie, so any time of year is great.
Yeah, so you obviously still go in the winter because it's like a Tassie summer.
It's beautiful really. I don't know what everyone's complaining about.
Nice. Well, thanks for joining us, Chase.
Perfect, thanks for having me.
Now, most Crows supporters would agree that comebacks don't come much better than when they're against Collingwood. And let's never forget what happened in the final round of 1993. Adelaide needed to win to make finals for the first time, but Collingwood jumped to a 5-goal lead at quarter time. The Crows then clawed their way back into the game.
Quickly up towards full forward. Metre got it. The umpire didn't see it. Away goes McGuinness. That's goal of the night, if you don't mind.
Led by the likes of McDermott, McGuinness and Jarman, and spurred on by 45,000 fans, they ran out 4-goal winners.
That's the case. Give Collingwood their due.
The next week, Adelaide defeated Hawthorn in a memorable elimination final. Now, timing is everything in football, so when Troy Bond switched from Carlton to Adelaide in 1996, it proved a decisive move. Thanks to Optus, Sam Jacobs talks to Troy about the moment he said yes to the Crows and began a career that culminated with 4 goals in the 97 grand final.
Hello Crows fans, I'm here with a crowd favourite, 1997 Premiership player, Troy Bond. Bondy, it started with the S for you when you came back from Carlton to Adelaide. How was the move, and were you pretty keen to come back home and play footy in front of your friends and family?
Yeah, it was, mate. Obviously 1994 was great to go with Carlton, but obviously what happened in 1995 when got left out of the grand final team, I was pretty devastated, but also I was probably homesick by then too, and wanted to come back home. And yeah, Crows wanted me to come back, and it was great that they could get a trade done and I can come home.
Now we know 2 years later you were very much a big part of the team that won the 1997 Premiership. You were able to kick 4 goals that day. Do you want to talk to us about, I guess, your experiences and how much it meant to you after missing out on the one at Carlton, or the opportunity at Carlton, to then win one at the Crows?
Yeah, it was, you know, obviously you play football to play in premierships, and to miss out in 1995 was, you know, pretty devastating, like I said. But to come back to Adelaide and, like you said, play in front of your family and friends most weekends, they could come and watch, which was great. And then, you know, we were lucky enough to make the finals, and we had a really good team, and yeah, to get the opportunity to play in another one was something really special.
Now you do a lot of work with the Aboriginal community.
Yep.
Indigenous round, Sir Doug Nicholls round coming up as well. What does it mean to you to be a proud Indigenous man, and obviously what does the round mean to you?
Yeah, it's a great thrill. Obviously when we were playing, we never had the chance to play an Indigenous round. They never had an Indigenous round when we were playing. But now, you know, the AFL do a fantastic job. Yeah, it's great for the Aboriginal players to represent not only their team but their family and where they're from. It's just a great celebration of Indigenous culture.
Bondie, you're a crowd favourite. I think everyone got a lot of enjoyment watching you play. We'll always remember your celebration after your big goal for the boundary, mate. So thank you very much for joining us and sharing your moment at the start of the Yes.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Unfortunately, injuries cut short Troy's career. Someone who has proved to be remarkably resilient is David Mackay. Shortly, we'll see how he's using his experience to benefit the young guys. When David Mackay was drafted by the Crows, Riley Thilthorpe was just 4 years old. Now, David is helping Riley and all the other youngsters cope with the demands of AFL football. D-Mac has 237 games of experience behind him, the most of any current player. And as he's shown this year, he's lost none of his class.
Yeah, feeling really good. I'm really enjoying the year. Obviously, you know, it's been a little bit up and down from a performance point of view in terms of getting results, but I'm really enjoying being part of the group, trying to help out the younger guys and just seeing their progression every week. I suppose just looking for opportunities to try and help them build their career and get to where they want to get to as players, and ultimately get us to where we want to go as a footy club. It's quite a challenging industry and challenging profession. So I guess you know, just teaching them about different things that bob up along the way, and I guess little lessons that I've learned over my time, and about how to approach things, how to prepare, but ultimately, you know, it's up for them to sort of, you know, decide where they want to go, and just trying to sort of, I guess, help guide them a little bit along the way. We don't want to be holding their hand too much the whole way through. We want them to find out what they need to do and go after it. But to have those experienced heads around is something that we benefited when we were young, and we're hoping to be the same example for those guys coming through.
D-Mac is the perfect mentor for those young men. Now, you can support the club and join the Crows family for just $25 with the new We Flyers One Plus membership. You'll receive a $50 Crowmania voucher, exclusive member email communications, and special offers, plus 10% discount at Crowmania. Join now at crowsmembership.com.au. Since 2008, Toyota has helped thousands of grassroots footy clubs raise over $7 million with the Toyota Good for Footy raffle. Clubs keep 100% of the proceeds to spend on upgrading facilities or new equipment, as well as Guernseys and balls. There are some amazing prizes to win, including 3 brand new Toyotas, so make sure your club signs up at toyota.com.au. Let's check in with the Unley Jets Footy Club on the benefits of their success with the Toyota Good for Footy raffle.
I'm Britton Westall. I'm the communication officer here at the Adelaide Football Club. The Jets gives a great opportunity for people in the local community to engage with the greatest sport in the world, whether it's for fun, fitness or friendship, or if they've got sights on a career in the higher grades. We provide that opportunity every night of the week.
I'm Molly Lloyd. I'm the captain of the senior women's team here at Mercedes Unley Jets. The thing I love about playing at my local club is that it's a part of the community that I grew up in and a lot of people here grew up in. So because we're tied in with different old scholars communities, still keeping in contact with people that I grew up around, it's really special.
2020 was going to be a big year for us. Some serious talk about developing the club room, so we had a big year of fundraising planned, and then COVID hit. I saw an email from the league which pointed us towards the Toyota Good Footy raffle. We were fortunate enough to get close to $8,000, which has gone towards our co-contribution to the building fund. Our club rooms were built in 1974 and were due for a really significant update to make our facilities female friendly and fit for purpose. The Toyota Good for Footy raffle has allowed us to contribute funds to our co-contribution.
Support your local club by buying a $5 raffle ticket. Search Toyota Good for Footy raffle. Stay with us, still to come, the fan who tasted premiership success half a world away. From Modra magic to crucial comebacks, every Crows fan has their favourite moments. This year, using social media, we've asked members to share those memories. Today, thanks to Bendigo Bank, Charles recalls watching the '98 Grand Final on TV in a London pub with 200 other Aussies.
The moment has arrived. It's the big one, the last Saturday in September.
Charles Raymond Cox. I've been a member since the inauguration of the Crows. Favourite Crows memory, we were in London visiting our daughter. It was the grand final in 1998. We had no hope of ever being back in Australia to see the match, and we were in a London pub called the Fisk and Firkin, and we went to watch the Crows play North Melbourne.
Well done by Jarman. He bends it back as only Jarman can do.
There's about 150 or 200 people in this bar, and during the game we were a bit devastated the way things were going.
On the loose ball is Bell. That's a goal.
Eventually the Crows started to thrash North Melbourne.
Back to Tyson, 45 metres out. It's a beauty. He's done.
The Victorians were there and their glory started to disappear.
Smart in front. Three goals to Naples. Jarman, Brodie, you can guess the result.
They are a super football team, no question.
When the Crows had finally won the grand final, we celebrated with great gusto, and that was a very, very delightful meeting, seeing the Crows won and the Victorians had all left. It's very special, especially when you win premierships. That's what you play the game for.
That would have been a long day and night in London. Okay, time to find another Crow in the crowd. Certainly plenty to choose from. Let's settle on you. If you recognise yourself, email faceinthecrowd@afc.com.au with photo ID to claim your prize. And what a prize! 2 tickets to Toyota's exclusive Hilux Hill Unbreakable Zone at Adelaide Oval. Terms and conditions apply, so check out our website for details. Matthew Nix gives us a few minutes of his time each week to answer a fan's question. Today, Jad wants to know about his coaching philosophy and whether it's changed over the years.
Well, Dad, my coaching philosophy is really my life philosophy, which is prioritise others. It's about putting other people first, looking after your teammates from a football sense. It's amazing how the footy gods look after you when you do things for your teammates. And we've been able to create that culture at the footy club in a short period of time. The challenge now is to keep that culture going forward, and we'll continue to look at improving our footy on field. But at the moment, we've got a lot of good people in the organisation, both from a playing point of view and as well as staff. So it's a really positive environment that we're currently building, and we'll continue to improve on that as we go forward.
Well, that just about wraps up the Optus Crows Show. Don't forget to keep an eye on @The Crows Show on Twitter, and remember the club's social media accounts: Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for your company today, and I look forward to joining you again next Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock on 7. Bye for now.